Mwaonja is an acronym of Mwabusalu Ondoanja. This is the name of a community-based organization in Mwabusalu village, Meatu district in northern Tanzania. The CBO is a result of the initiative to alleviate hunger in Mwabusalu village. In this village, farmers are hard workers, and in a good season, they manage to harvest more than they can consume in a year. For years, Mwabusalu residents have used traditional storage facilities to store their harvest. These practices are wasteful, and they make the produce vulnerable to pest attack. A lot of food is destroyed during storage due to poor storage practices. For a long time, food shortage has been a common phenomenon in Mwabusalu and neighboring villages. With the realization of this problem, the International Child Support, together with 35 farmers in Mwabusalu village, started a grain storage scheme in 2004. In 2007, the number of farmers involved in this project had risen to 126. The objective of the project was to secure grain for home consumption during the food scarcity period, to control pest damage on cereal harvest, and also to be able to sell their grain at a higher price in the same period.
Mawazo yakawa yanatoka kwa wananchi. Tunapata njaa kwa sababu chakula tunalima tunapata kingi, lakini sasa tatizo linatokana na kifamilia. Moja, utunzaji katika familia ni mdogo sana kwa sababu hatuna dawa, tunabunguliwa vyakula vyetu. Vile vile katika family unaweza kukuta mama ananyofoa chakula, baba labda haupo, au baba ananyofoa chakula na kwenda kunywa pombe. Sasa likafikiria hili shirika la ICS, ili tumboreshe huyu mtu tufanyaje? Anyway, tukaambiwa kwamba mnaonaje tukiwa tunawatunzia chakula.
During the first years of the project, the Mwabusalu community was involved and established Mwaonja grain storage scheme. Since 2007, the community took up the responsibility of running the scheme themselves. Initially, the community was using cotton store for grain storage, but when the government of Tanzania recognized their efforts, it offered to build them a modern grain storage store. ICS continues to provide support in terms of information, capacity building, and finance. ICS expects that by the end of 2010, the project should be self-sufficient and able to run on its own.
Since 2004, we have been working with the community of Mwabusalu to implement this project. And we have come a long way. Between the period 2004 and 2007, most of the work was being handled by ICS, both administrative work, the coordination work of the project. But after that, we decided to hand over the project to the community since 2008. And since then, they have been fully responsible, but we have provided some capacity building and some financing to enable them to manage the project, but also improve the scope of the project to make it more sustainable. But also in the process, the government of Tanzania has realized the impact of such a project in the community, and they have offered and actually implemented part of the project where they have constructed permanent grain storage.
Ndio maana sisi tulipokalizwa huo mradi tukaita Mwaonja group, yani maana yake Mwabusalu ondoa njaa. Kama alivyoelezea mhasibu, DASP wakaamua kutujengea hili gara. Tukajengewa, tukaondoka na usumbufu wa kuwa tunaambiwa kwamba pisheni, tunataka kuanza kununua pamba.
The nearest tarmac road on this village is 170 kilometers away. Transportation is the greatest challenge in this village. The residents of Mwabusalu village and its environs depend on carts for transportation of the produce to the store. Before storing the grains, they have to be fumigated with pesticides in order to kill pests that can end up destroying the stored grain.
mahindi ya mradi, tuna utaratibu, tutakaa kikao baada ya kuona soko limekubalika. Haya ndiyo mahindi ya mradi wa Mwaonja. Kwa hiyo tutaangalia kwamba sasa hivi soko linakubalika, na tunakaa pamoja, tunajadili, tunauza kwa pamoja ili kuweza kupata kipato chetu katika mradi. Haya ndiyo magunia ya wanachama ambayo yana lebo kama hii imeandikwa jina la mwanachama. Kipindi akihitaji kutoa haya mahindi, tunatumia wale vibarua, wanashusha. Tunamuuliza anahitaji kiasi gani cha mahindi. Kama anahitaji gunia moja, tunashusha gunia moja, tunampa. Tukishampa yale mahindi kwenye register, tunaandika humu kwenye kumbukumbu kwamba alikuwa na magunia mangapi. Kama alikuwa nayo 10, mfano kama leo tarehe 21, naandika tarehe 21 amechukua gunia moja la mahindi, na yeye anasaini kama mwanachama na kuonyesha salio la mahindi ambayo yamebaki yako gharani la kwake mwanachama.
What used to happen before is that middlemen from the neighboring districts, from Maswa and sometimes as far as from Mwanza, would come to this community, buy the grain, take it away, and during the low period or during the low season period, when there is no much grain in the community, businessmen from this community had to go again far to bring back the same cereals to sell to the locals. That drastically increases the cost of transportation of the grain, and consequently also the cost of grain to the locals is also very high. What this project has done is that it has made cereals locally available even during the low season. The businessmen can buy from the storage facility, from the CBO, and they can take it to the neighboring market and sell to the locals. With the lower transport costs, of course, they are able also to offer the grain at a lower cost.
Mazao tunayoweka hapa gharani yanabaki na ubora ule ule na wingi ule ule kwa sababu hayaharibiwi na wadudu. Tunaweza labda kwa mfano kama umewekeza mali zako humu, unakuja unaomba mkopo, unasaidiwa aidha kifamilia, una mtoto labda anaumwa, kile kiasi ambacho umeomba hapa na shirika likakuamini kwa sababu na wewe una aseti zako, kinaweza kukusaidia unaponyesha labda mtoto wako nini, kwa ajili yani ya faida za pale nyumbani kwa shida mbalimbali.
Mwa faida ambazo nimezipata kutokana na mradi huu tangu ulipoanzishwa, moja yake baada ya kuweka mazao yangu na muda ulipofika nikayauza kwa bei nzuri, ikaniwezesha kupata nyumba nzuri, nikajenga yenye paa nzuri kwa ajili ya kuhifadhi watoto wangu pamoja na familia kwa ujumla. Na faida zingine ambazo nimezipata ni kwa ajili ya kusomesha vijana wangu, kuwalipia karo baada ya kuwa nimeweka nafaka zangu ndani ya kikundi, na kisha nikaomba mkopo na nikaaminiwa, na vijana wangu wanaendelea na masomo.
Initially the project had only 71 members, and with the payment they used to make to the project to store their grains, it was very hard for the project to sustain itself. But we have brought on board, together with the CBO, the component of purchasing grains from the farmers, and this has increased the amount of grain which is available to the CBO, and this also brings down the per unit cost of storage, both to the farmers who are storing their grains, but also to the CBO in terms of paying for the administrative cost of storing the grains.
This project is a unique example of how an initiative has evolved from being a donor-led project to becoming a civic-driven social change, moving from an isolated attempt to becoming a social enterprise, being part of the ICA's child rights approach and integrated in the child rights in school improvement program.
In future, we are looking at this grain storage as a start of social enterprises within this community. We look at the community operating more of such projects in a business-like manner to make them more sustainable. But also this offers a good entry point for other development projects. We will be looking into partnering with other NGOs to introduce a microfinance element into the project, and also encompassing or incorporating other related projects which can help the community to go to the next level. But we are also looking at incorporating the production elements of the grains. The project should be able to help communities to access quality fertilizers, quality production material, but also in a sustainable way, where they buy the products from the from the producers or from the wholesalers and retail to farmers, to make it more locally available, but to also benefit from the economies of scale of buying in bulk, so that they can be able to supply to their members of the CBU and to the other members of the community.